On your Wednesday episode of Locked On Raptors, yes, the Toronto Raptors have their flaws, but it is sure nice being significantly better than the Miami Heat.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors. It is Wednesday, April the 8th, and I am your host, your pal, Sean Woodley. Thank you so much for being here. As always, today we get to talk about a very fun, very convincing win over a very uninspiring Miami Heat team. We will talk about the Raptors looking whole again. In fact, getting whole again, getting all their guys available and the value that brings to the Toronto Raptors. We'll talk about Collin Murray-Boyles, who I'm sorry should be on an all-rookie team. We've also got the good, the bad, the as always on the heels of a Raptors basketball game. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started, and we will get started here on your Wednesday edition of the show talking about a win, 121-95 for the Toronto Raptors over the Miami Heat in what was one of, if not the biggest games of the season, coming in the first of two against the Heat. If you lock this one up, you win the first game, you secure the tiebreaker, you take some of the stress out of the second game, and you give more time on the schedule for the scoreboard watching to go your way as well. And the Raptors come out and just kind of lay the beat down on the Heat. The Heat had like a moment in the second quarter where they took a very brief lead, but the Raptors took it right back and ran from there. And I think we should kind of start with just the sort of overall, I don't know, like the clear gap between the Raptors and the Heat that I think was on display in this game, has been on display in all three matchups so far this year. Fun fact, the Miami Heat have been held under 100 points just 6 times this season. 3 times that has been at the hands of the Toronto Raptors. This is just a matchup that the Raptors are well equipped for. Miami is a team of gimmicks. They are a team built on quicksand. They are a team that plays this bizarro no picks offense and this high school ass zone defense all the time. And the Raptors were ready for the gimmickry in this one. The Raptors are just a lot better than Miami, and they have clearly owned them. They continue to kind of have their season-long run of being quite successful against their contemporaries in this middle tier of the Eastern Conference now, by the way. Now 13-5 against the Hawks, Heat, Magic, Sixers, and Hornets. 2 straight biggest games of the season, as it were, against Orlando and Miami over the course of 9-10 days, and they absolutely waxed them in both. And look, the Raptors, like I said, were ready for the gimmicks of the Miami Heat in this game. And I think when you get Immanuel Quickley back and you have the whole team, Collin Murray-Boyles, Mamu were both questionable for the game. They were ruled in as well. When you have all of the parts, like, this team has a lot going for it, and it's just too good, too deep, too sort of balanced in what it can do to get flummoxed by this Miami Heat. Let's just throw crap at the wall and junk it up to see if we can kind of win style of play. You know, they didn't destroy, the Raptors didn't, against the Heat zone. You know, that's typically been a bit of a pressure point and was going to be a pressure point in this game always, because the Heat love to run zone. They ran 19 possessions of it last night. The Raptors scored 0.95 points per possession, which isn't incredible, but it's like above their season average, and it's perfectly acceptable enough to kind of force the Heat to go away from it. And you know, it was a lot of like interior passing, and they shot the lights out in this game as well. 12 of 28, that was great, but I think the interior passing from Scottie Barnes, Collin Murray-Boyles, Jakob Poeltl, that sort of triumvirate of dudes in whatever combination was on the floor, was really the reason why they kind of caused the Heat zone to collapse in on itself, and they couldn't lean on it for, the 30 possessions or so they've been leaning on it for in a lot of games recently, and like they did in their first matchups against the Raptors. Look, the Raptors, for all their faults, just like make a lot more functional sense as a basketball team than the Heat do, and that is especially true when they have all their guys available. I think in a way that, the Heat, you look at them, they're constantly searching for floor balance. They're constantly searching for lineups where they can kind of play both ways successfully, not compromise one end or the other. The Raptors, especially with Immanuel Quickley, like, they just have balance. They have some order. They make sense functionally. as a basketball team. And I think we saw the effect of Quickley being back most kind of reflected in the play of Scottie Barnes in this game. 25 points for him, 8 boards, 5 assists, 10 of 16, very efficient, hits 2 threes. It was just everywhere, the best player on the floor, bar none in this game. And I think, it's not a surprise to me that Immanuel Quickley comes back to handle the ball a little bit. And all of a sudden, Scottie Barnes is freed up to do the power wing scoring thing he's done so successfully all year. And it was his best attacking the rim game he's had in quite some time. That's just what happens when you're not asking Scottie to have to create with the ball in his hands at all times, the main target of defensive attention, kind of walking into all kinds of, traps and doubles and walls and things like that. He gets to work away from the ball and great things can happen. I think there was a really sort of representative possession of this last night in the second quarter. You have Immanuel Quickley bringing the ball up the floor. He runs like a quick pick and roll on the right wing with Jakob Poeltl. Pretty basic stuff. And you have Scottie Barnes at the 45 over on the left wing. He's got Bam Adebayo guarding him. Quickly turns the corner, gets around Kasparas Jakubonis in the pick and roll, and Bam has to step up to wall off the drive to prevent him from getting all the way to the rim. And it's just a very simple, elegant pass from Immanuel Quickley to Scottie Barnes at the 45, where Bam is kind of occupied with Quickley's potential drive, and Scottie is like already on the move as he catches the pass from IQ and is all the way to the rim for an easy layup. Like, that's just, again, it's simple, it's basic stuff, but it just, I think, represents how much easier life is for Scottie Barnes when he doesn't always have to be the source of creation for the team. And he can be someone who benefits from other dudes who had the ball in their hands. And look, Quickley only played 18 minutes. He only took 3 shots. He only made 1. But his impact, and Darko Rajakovic remarked upon it after the game, like, he just makes life easier for Scottie Barnes. And it is no coincidence that Barnes had himself one of his best offensive games in a while in this one, because he didn't have to do all the stuff. He didn't have to go through the rigmarole of, all right, I have the ball, I'm going to set this, someone's going to set a screen for me, and I'm going to try to get downhill, but there's going to be 2-3 dudes waiting for me, and they're sitting on my turnaround for the jumper and all this stuff. Like, no, like, he just gets to attack free and in space. The other thing you got too from Scottie in this game, that again, the sort of the order of the equilibrium of the team was restored by the return of Quickley, is what is Scottie so great at? It's running the floor real fast, getting a deep seal on a mismatch, and scoring when you get in that entry pass. Saw it a few times last night as well. And that's just something we haven't seen a lot of. Those are easy points that Scottie Barnes tends to pick up that he hasn't been able to find lately, because he's bringing the ball up the floor 60 times a game, right? If you give it to other dudes and let him be the early work guy like he's been so effectively this year, you're just going to get those easy buckets that are part of his whole rim pressure package. And yeah, I mean, just like a really great effect. The starters with Quickley back pick up right where they left off, +7 in 9 minutes. When the team has its parts, they're pretty good. And with the bench coming around of late too, basically since the return of Collin Murray-Boyles, it's been a really crucial development, because you're now looking at a team that is legitimately deep, that has 9 guys, 8.5 guys, depending on what Shed's doing. He had a brutal start in this game, finished more strongly, of course. But, you have Mamu, Walter, Collin Murray-Boyles, plus Shed. Jamison Battle's back now. I wonder if he gets a look at any of these sort of situations where they need some shooting and stretch on the floor. But, like, this is a rotation you can count on with guys who have complementary skills. You can fit together all kinds of different lineups. We'll talk about some of that a little bit later on in the show. But look, this is not a perfect basketball team. This is not an inner circle contender by any means, but when they have all their dudes, they are far from just like a bunch of losers who have no shot either. And I think, yeah, it's hard to rely on full health throughout the course of 82 games, but if you're healthy going into the postseason, and look, they're sort of healthy. Everyone played and was available last night. Everyone's banged up. Scottie's banged up. Quickley's not 100% on down the line. Collin Murray-Boyles is just like a walking, he looks like he's in pain all the time because of the sort of load he's carrying. Last night after the game, he mentioned something along the lines of, it feels like it's been 3 seasons in one, compared to his college season last year to this one. And so, yeah, it's they're banged up, but like when all of them are available and they just have all the skill sets on hand, it's a team that can do a lot and has a lot going for it, even if it's not a perfect team. And yes, there's work to do in the summer and all of that. But, when you're healthy, it's great. It goes a long way to looking like yourselves. And look, the Heat were also healthy last night, and the Heat had no chance because they are just not a very good team and don't have the balance the Raptors do. And that was pretty evident. And look, I mentioned, Jacoby Walter, Mamu, those guys been red hot. Jamal Shed, waxing, waning. Collin Murray-Boyles, we'll talk about him coming up in a second here, because I thought last night he put together one of the most impressive 6.8 rebounds on 3 of 7 shooting games you'll ever see. And I think at this point, I am ready to very firmly fire up the Collin Murray-Boyles should be a no-brainer all-rookie guy campaign. We'll talk about that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are fast approaching, where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters when you're looking at stars, role players, and key moments. Maybe you have a team you're going to hitch your wagon to in the postseason out west. Maybe you're a Nuggets head. Maybe you're a Spurs head, and you want to go do some same-game parlays for those teams in their playoff games. Maybe you take the over on Jokic points, the over on Jamal Murray made threes, and you take the Nuggets to win in a playoff game. If all three of those things hit, you put a little money down. You can turn that into a lot more money with a same-game parlay. And all kinds of different ways to make your playoff experience more engaging from start to finish over at FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Today's show is also brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is just a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade into it. TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Back at it here. Going to do some Collin Murray-Boyles propaganda in a hot second, but just a reminder, the Locked On Raptors Everydayer Club is available for you to sign it up. It's not free, but you will get it ad-free. That is ad-free versions of the podcast if you go and sign on up. It's a wonderful thing. Link in the description of the podcast. If you want to hop in there, it's lockedonraptors.supercast.com. You get access to ad-free episodes of the show. Plus, you get access to our Locked On network-wide Discord server, all for the low price of $5 a month or $50 for the year. And let me tell you, the ad-free living, it's not bad. It's saving time. I'm out here giving you days back in your life. If you add up, 4 minutes a day or so over the course of 5 shows a week, 52 weeks a year, you think about all that time you can get back not listening to ads by signing up. I think it's worth it just for the man hours alone. So sign on up, lockedonraptors.supercast.com, and also come hang out in our group chat. There's lots of fun stuff going on. Okay. Collin Murray-Boyles. This guy is a delight. He is an absolute delight to watch. I think reading the tea leaves from Darko Rajakovic, he seems like an absolute delight to coach as well. And he just continues to be instant impact when he steps on the floor. Again, just 6 points, 8 boards, and assist, 3 of 7 shooting last night. But as impactful as you can be as a bench guy coming in and scoring 6 points and 8 rebounds. Just the defense is off the charts good with this guy. He is so good on his feet, so long, makes everything so difficult for the other team. On offense, it was critical to busting the zone for the Heat with his interior spacing, finishing, passing, all of that. And yeah, just like an absolute lockup mode, no matter who he's guarding, on the ball, help at the rim, clogging passing lanes, blocking threes like he did on Andrew Wiggins last night. Just like a total monster. There was a possession last night where Bam Adebayo got the ball on the post, and he took one dribble to try to back down Collin Murray-Boyles, and it was like he ran into a brick wall, and he was just like, okay, I don't want none of this. So I'm kicking it out, and we're going to reset the possession because this is just not happening. Like, he is unbelievably strong. He's outlier strong, right? Like, I think there's this sort of still this notion that, well, the Raptors need more centers because, well, Collin Murray-Boyles is only 6'7". Like, we're just going to have to come to accept that he is an outlier when it comes to strength, when it comes to playing up in size. The Raptors rebounding and sort of general things you look for from centers, those don't fall off the table when Collin Murray-Boyles is out there. He's just that good. He brings all the center skills you want while also being strong enough to bang with some of the strongest guys in the NBA. And like, I'm pretty convinced that the future of Toronto Raptors basketball is going to be played with Scottie Barnes and Collin Murray-Boyles at the 4 and the 5 in the games and the minutes that matter most, barring them finding some sort of true stretch 7-footer, which there's like maybe 8 of them in the entire world. They don't grow on trees. You're going to be looking at Collin Murray-Boyles, Scottie Barnes, 4-5. Who's the center? Who cares? For a very long time as the basis of the best lineups and the most important lineups for the Toronto Raptors. And that is very, very cool. I got a clip here from Darko Rajakovic after the game last night. He was asked about the level of trust he has in Collin Murray-Boyles as a rookie, which is not a very common thing. Eric Kareen asked this question. Here was Darko's answer.
I have utmost respect and trust in that guy. The way he competes, the way he just thinks about how to help the team. He's playing basketball with no agenda. He's just playing basketball to win, and whatever needs to be done, he's going to be guarding wings, he's going to be guarding fives, he's going to be rebounding, he's going to be running in transition every single time. He does so much for us and helps us so much every time when he's on the floor.
The impact from a rookie, like, it's not normal. Like, this is not a thing you expect from most rookies coming in. Like, this is the sort of general rule is rookies are bad, rookies lose their minutes, rookies are bad at defense. And he has defied every single one of those long-standing traditions of rookie basketball players. And like, I got to tell you, man, like I was listening yesterday to Zach Lowe and Rob Mahoney on Zach's show doing their all rookie cases. And I think Rob actually had Collin Murray-Boyles on the all rookie team. Zach had him just off. You cannot tell me there are 10 rookies in the NBA this year who are better at playing basketball than Collin Murray-Boyles. Yes, there might be some who are better at scoring points in low stakes environments. Sure. But like, to me, I do think the impact on winning has to be baked in when you are doing rookie of the year, when you're doing all rookie. This is why I have Con Knipple as rookie of the year over Cooper Flagg. I think that is, like, to me, it's obvious. Like, Con Knipple's been awesome on a team that is good, that is flat out good. Cooper Flagg, I know he's racking up big point totals as the Mavs try to like spam giving him the ball so he can win rookie of the year. Like, Con is doing it on a team that's really good. And the same logic, I think, applies when you're putting together your all-rookie teams. And look, I'm not sitting here saying that Collin Murray-Boyles should be a first-team all-rookie guy because I don't think he's played enough minutes for that. You know, he's on the lower end of all of the sort of key rookies, like 1,200 minutes or so. You know, he's what, 52 games, something like that. Like, he's missed plenty of time. I think it's fair that maybe you knock him for that and don't put him on the first team. But if he ends up being one of the 5 best players from this class when all is said and done, I don't think that will be surprising in one, like at all. It won't be surprising at all. Like, he's just like the defense. He's going to make all defense team. He might be like a perennial all defense fixture at some point in his career for a stretch of 3, 4, 5 years. He's just that good. He's that strong. He's that versatile. It's a delight to watch. And if you're, again, going on just sort of impact, like, okay, congrats to Maxime Reynaud for scoring a whole bunch of points on a Kings team that sucks, while also playing some of the most like untenable defense you've ever seen. Congrats to Derek Queen for having a good first couple of months before really tailing off on a team where nothing matters. Congrats to Jeremiah Fears, who I like and I think is going to be good for racking up a bunch of counting stats on a team going nowhere. Like, Collin Murray-Boyles doesn't have the counting stats, but if you go like under the hood and just look at the advanced metrics, some of the efficiency data, it's very clear Collin Murray-Boyles belongs on an all-rookie team. Among rookies who have played more than 1,000 minutes, he is 6th in total win shares. He is 3rd in win shares per 48 minutes, 5th in box plus minus, 5th in value over replacement player, 2nd in just straight up field goal percentage, 2nd in true shooting percentage, 4th in blocks, 11th in steals, 7th in total plus minus. And he's done that, you know, in a lot less minutes than some of his other contenders for all rookie. Like, he's just really, really good. I think my other rookie teams would go Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Con Knipple, VJ Edgecombe, probably Cedric Coward as my first team. Second team, I think Collin Murray-Boyles has to be on there. There's just the impact on winning argument, I think, holds a lot of water for me in all rookie conversations. And he, outside of Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's been, you know, kind of a bit part on a very good team, had some good moments. The underlying numbers for him are very good. there's just not other guys who are doing it on winning teams. It really is like it's Harper, Knipple. If you're going just on like impact on winning basketball, it's Harper, it's Knipple, it's VJ, it's Collin Murray-Boyles, and Kalkbrenner. If you're going like the guys most impacting winning, maybe that's some bad Cooper Flag erasure. He's incredible. You can swap Kalkbrenner in for Flag if you want. But again, I'm not even saying Collin Murray-Boyles should be on the first team. But second team, I think it's Collin Murray-Boyles. I think it's Kalkbrenner. I think you probably then go to like Ace Bailey, who's been putting up good numbers on a Jazz team that at least tries to play normal basketball, even though they're not really playing anybody. I would have Jeremiah Fears also, just because he is, kind of doing the lead guard creation thing on a bad team. It's pretty thankless as a rookie. I think it's hard. And I would certainly have him ahead of like Derek Queen, who I think has really tailed off. And then like the last spot after CMB, Ace, Fears, and Kalkbrenner, like sure, you can make Trey Johnson, Will Riley, Maxime Reynaud, and Derek Queen play one-on-one in a tournament against one another for it. I don't care. Like I'm taking Collin Murray-Boyles over all those guys long-term, and this year for like impact on winning. Like, I'm sorry, Maxime Reynaud with the defense he plays would not be impacting winning on any team, I don't think. Derek Queen, like that's just not the kind of guy who's impacting winning in year one. Will Riley, Trey Johnson, they play for the Wizards. Like, it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a homer here, but like I feel like I've been pretty consistent with this throughout my entire time covering the NBA. I think we under-index impact on winning as rookies, and when they do it, I think it's far more impressive than putting up raw point totals on a team that wins 23 games, which is what most rookies do when they're given the keys. Murray-Boyles has not been given the keys, but with the role he's been assigned, like he is very firmly in the circle of trust for a 40-ish, 45-ish win team that's going probably to the playoffs, and I think that warrants all rookie consideration. I think he should be on there. And I'm not just doing this because him making all rookie will maybe lock up my first ever over-unders win with Vivek and Sahal. I promise I'm not just doing that. We'll come back into this side here, close things out with the good, the bad, and the whom, as we always do, checking on the playoff race, talk about Brandon Ingram's process and why it did not matter at all that it was not so good in this game, and a lineup that I really, really liked that we got just a tiny little glimpse of. We'll do that coming up in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by friends over at Quo Spring. It's a natural reset point, of course, spring cleaning, all that good stuff. But at your business, the spring cleaning you can do is cleaning up your messy internal communications, missed calls, scattered texts. There's no clear thread of who said what. That is how you lose money if you run a small business. And that is why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. It lets your entire team share one business number so you never miss a call, text, or opportunity. Everything lives in one clean thread. Calls, texts, voicemails, the whole team sees the conversation so nothing falls through the cracks. And it's great if you want to like take time off, if you run a business and unplug for a week or two so you can sit on the beach. You know that while you're sitting on the beach, not reading texts, your entire team will see everything that has been missed. And that is huge. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. Make this the season no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free to get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedInNBA. That's quo.com/LockedInNBA. Quo, no missed calls and no missed customers. All right, wrapping things up here with the good, the bad, and the That's how we wrap up every episode of this year podcast on the heels of a Toronto Raptors basketball game. A thing I liked, a thing I didn't like. I think this got me a little intrigued from the latest in Toronto Raptors hoops. And the good, the scoreboard watching. Really good again last night. Only one game where it really mattered, but the Charlotte Hornets lose to the Boston Celtics. That's a biggie for the Raptors, who were just one game up going into last night on the Hornets. And, the Hornets are, terrifying. It's frightening how like potent they feel like they can be when they're at their best. They were not at their best to close the game against the Celtics, and thanks to the Celtics for doing everyone a solid here. The Raptors now over 50% for the 6th seed in terms of their odds to get it per Basketball Reference, up to like 52% nearly. The Sixers down around 27%. Big one last night for the Raptors to pick up that win. The Heat also are fully buried there in the play-in. They got no shot of making a push at 6. Had they beaten the Raptors twice this week, there might have been an outside shot, but that is not going to happen for them. And the Cavs play the Hawks twice starting tonight. Those are big ones to watch scoreboard-wise. Do the Cavs actually want to win and get into the Celtics half of the bracket? Seems like maybe not. Feels like they might just hand a couple of games here to the Hawks and give them the 5 seed. Although, again, the Raptors just 1 game back. The Hawks losing 1 game in their final 3 here against 2 against the Cavs, 1 against Miami, will potentially open them up to the Raptors catching them, because the Raptors have the tiebreak there. If the Raptors win out, Hawks lose 1, the Raptors are going to be the 5 seed. And so it's still open here, if unlikely for the Raptors to get there. What are the odds right now? The Raptors have a 9% chance, I think it stands right now, of oh wait, that might have changed since last night. Give me a sec here. Basketball Reference is loading. 15% chance for the Raptors to be the 5 seed, 54% chance for them to be the 6 seed. So yeah, also another really big one, Thursday night, Rockets hosting Philly. If they can just beat Philly, the Rockets, that night, it's going to be enormous for the Raptors' pursuit of 6th than staying out of the play-in. It'll give them leeway to lose 1 more game in their final 3. I would expect them to beat the Heat on Thursday again. It's just a matchup they own. They have the Nets on Sunday. You got to win that one. If they can beat the Knicks on Friday, man, that would go a long way, especially if they're likely to play the Knicks going into the playoffs, a little confidence boost, all that stuff. Maybe the Knicks want to play the Raptors in the first round and thus will let them win that game. There's all that too. So plenty to figure out here, but last night very much put the Raptors back in the driver's seat for 6, which is very, very nice. The bad, it's a funny one because it didn't matter, but Brandon Ingram's process in this game was extremely Brandon Ingram-y, and I didn't quite love it, but it worked out. He had a really good game. He did the thing where, he very often will wave away screens and miss open reads in the sort of semi-transition and just kind of bog things down so we can go to work on someone. And look, I understand. Tyler Hero's guarding you. There's just like a big target on him that says, go to work on me, score on my ass, please. And Brandon Ingram obliged many times in this game. And yeah, like his bucket getting was pretty valuable in the moments where it seemed like the Raptors might lose the rope. He had a couple of big stretches at the big trailer 3 that kind of put things away. I think it was 94-76 or something. After he hit that, it kind of squarely put the Heat back down after it looked like the Heat might make a little push in the third quarter. Yeah, again, process wasn't incredible. Didn't love the sort of lack of reads that seemed easy when he saw extra attention, forced a couple of tough ones. But that said, he also had the good ancillary stuff in his game in this one that has made the sort of less fun parts of the Ingram offensive experience palatable this year. Thought he was super active on defense, had a couple of perfectly timed rotations at the rim, verticality, stops. Miami shot just 52% at the rim in this game, couldn't score at all at the rim, and Ingram was not the biggest part of that, but he certainly was valuable there and continues to be just like a good, helpful, active team defender. And yeah, when the shots are going down, it's pretty and nice and helps the Raptors offense stay afloat. And the for me was the very, very brief glimpse we got of what I think is my favorite combination of 5 guys the Toronto Raptors can conjure from their entire roster into one lineup. Tiny little look at it, but in the late first quarter, we saw Immanuel Quickley, Jacoby Walters, Scottie Barnes, Mamu, and Collin Murray-Boyles out there together. That 5-man group rocks. The numbers don't say it because we don't have any numbers on it. He's played 9 total possessions this season as a 5-man unit, just 5 going into last night. They nearly doubled their time together in like 2 minutes of action down the stretch. But I like it. It's very possibly, like I said, my favorite combination of 5 players you can pull out of the hopper and put together for the Raptors. The Collin Murray-Boyles plus Scottie Barnes plus shooting dynamic, that works for me. I'm into that. And it's a lineup with like 3 clear plus defenders with Walter out there, a mild plus in IQ, who I thought was actually quite awesome on defense in his return last night. Great to see. Mamu, of course, the spacing agent. The CMB Mamu Barnes trio has been pretty effective all season long. Makes a lot of sense that it would be, considering the skill sets at play there and the way that Collin Murray-Boyles and Barnes can cover for Mamu's defensive deficiencies. I want to see that lineup more. It's just like a little delicious, tasty morsel. It's like a little tasting menu item at an expensive restaurant where it's like one bite and gone. You're like, where that was the best bite of my entire life. Come back, please. More of that lineup, please. There's a few games left here to test some stuff out. I think that's a lineup that could be one of those sort of, okay, it's the playoffs. We need to optimize shooting here without giving up too much defense. How do we do it? That might be one of the lineups to do it, where you have the guard play of Quickley. You got Barnes as the secondary guy, Walter and Mamu just letting it rip, and then Murray-Boyles doing his whole, try to score on me, good luck thing. I'm into it. That is a lineup that you can go to war with. And it's weird we haven't seen it more. It makes a lot of sense geometrically as a 5-man group. Obviously, overlapping injuries. Murray-Boyles missed a lot of time. Quickley missed some time late in the season, all of that. But that's the lineup I wish we had more data on to see just how good it is. But if they want to start get some data on it late in the season, no better time than now. And would like to see that be something they kind of lean on as a core lineup going into the playoffs, because I think it just makes a lot of logical sense. And we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for rocking with the show. As always, follow, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, join the Discord, link in the description of the podcast, as always. And, of course, you can join our Locked On Network-wide Discord and get ad-free versions of the show by signing up for our Everydayer Club as well. LockedOnRaptors.supercast.com. The landing page is in the description of the podcast as well. $5 a month, $50 for the year. Really great for me. If you want to support me, you like the show every day, you listen every day, you want to save yourself some time on ads while also supporting a host that you like and think is cool. No better way to do it than by signing up for the Everydayer Club. Plus the Locked On network-wide Discord. It's lots of fun, and there's going to be some fun stuff going on in there, especially as we move to the basketball off season. I'm probably going to host a trivia night in there at some point. That's going to be fun. It's going to be all kinds of fun things going on as we kind of ratchet up what we're doing over there on the Discord and our very nice group chat that happens away from the hell websites where the world's falling apart. So yeah, love to see you there, and we will talk to you again on Thursday. I think Katie Heindel will be back along. We'll look ahead to Raptors Heat 2.0 on Thursday night, and send you off into the rest of your week when we get to there. But I'll send you off for the rest of your Wednesday now. I'm landing the plane very well here. Thank you so much for hanging. Bye-bye.